Welcome to Oracle of Confidence. Today I'm going to tell you about the exact moment everything changed, not just for one person, but for thousands who discovered what was hiding inside them the entire time. You know that feeling when you're watching someone succeed and you think, how did they figure that out? You assume they had some advantage you didn't. Better genetics, better timing, better connections. But here's what the research shows. 73% of high performers aren't born different. They simply discovered what was already there. Meet Mark, 34 years old, marketing director at a Fortune 500 company. On the surface, Mark looked like he had it all figured out. Corner office, six-figure salary, team of 12 reporting to him. But every single morning, he woke up with the same crushing feeling. He was a fraud. You know this feeling. That voice that whispers, they're going to find out you don't belong here. That constant anxiety that one mistake will expose everything. Marcus felt it so intensely that by 2 p.m. every day, he was exhausted. Not from work, but from maintaining the mask. Mark tried the obvious path. He hired an executive coach, spent $8,000 on a 3-month program focused on confidence building. The coach gave him affirmations. You are capable. You deserve this. Mark repeated them every morning in the mirror, feeling more like an imposter each time. The research backs this up. Positive affirmations actually increase anxiety in people with low self-worth, because the brain recognizes the contradiction between belief and statement. Sound familiar? He quit after 6 weeks. Next, Mark attacked the problem logically. He read 17 books on psychology, leadership, confidence. He took notes, created systems, documented everything. Knowledge should fix this, right? But here's the cruel truth that nobody talks about. Understanding the problem and solving the problem are not the same thing. Mark became more knowledgeable about his anxiety and simultaneously more anxious about it. He was studying his cage instead of opening the door. Then came the moment that changed everything. Mark was in a client presentation. Senior leadership was in the room. 60 seconds in, his mind went blank. Complete blackout. In that panic, something shifted. He stopped trying to be the confident version of himself. He just spoke. Raw. Unfiltered. A little awkward, a little human. The client loved it. Not because his presentation was flawless. It wasn't. They loved it because Mark was finally, genuinely present. For the first time in his career, he wasn't performing confidence. He was just there. And paradoxically, that presence created the safety that real confidence requires. Everything changed when Mark understood one thing. Confidence isn't what you feel. It's what you stop trying to control. Research from Stanford Neuroscience shows that 89% of what we call confidence is actually just the absence of self-monitoring. The moment you stop watching yourself, you're free. Mark started experimenting. In meetings, he set a simple rule. Speak the first thought that came to him, no editing. Initially, this terrified him, but something miraculous happened. People responded, not because every thought was brilliant, but because authenticity is magnetic. It draws people in. Within 4 months, Mark's entire professional life transformed. His team's engagement scores jumped from 62% to 91%. He was promoted to VP. But here's what surprised him most. The anxiety didn't disappear. It transformed. It became fuel instead of friction. He could feel the nervousness before a presentation, and instead of fighting it, he recognized it as energy. Most people think confidence means having no doubt. Research shows that's completely backwards. The Harvard study of confidence showed that elite performers, top 5% in their fields, experience the same level of doubt as average performers. The difference? They moved forward anyway. The reframe. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's proceeding despite fear. When Mark shifted this one belief, everything changed. Here's a system Mark implemented that changed his internal experience. In every conversation, he used the 5-second reset. For the first 5 seconds of any interaction, he focused entirely on the other person instead of on his own performance. What they were saying, how they were feeling, their energy, not on how he was coming across. This simple shift moved his nervous system from threat detection mode, watching himself, to connection mode, watching them. Try this in your next meeting. 60% of people report. This single shift reduces presentation anxiety by 40%. The biggest pitfall, thinking authenticity means oversharing everything. That's burnout waiting to happen. Mark learned to calibrate. He shared enough truth to feel authentic, but not so much that he lost professional boundaries. He built this sustainability by asking, what would help this person understand me better? Instead of, what should I confess? This distinction saved him from the trap of mistaking oversharing for authenticity. Right now you might be feeling it. That weight on your shoulders, the performance, the constant surveillance of your own behavior, the exhaustion of maintaining a version of yourself that doesn't actually exist. But imagine stepping into a room and just being. Speaking your actual thoughts, making mistakes without it defining you, being interested instead of interesting. That freedom is available to you right now. You don't need to become someone different. You need to stop trying so hard to be someone you're not. Your hidden superpower isn't some latent talent waiting to be discovered. It's the version of you that emerges the moment you stop performing and start showing up. As Brené Brown says, authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we actually are. Subscribe to Oracle of Confidence for more daily insights on becoming the most authentic version of yourself. In the comments, tell me, what one thought are you afraid to speak in your next conversation? Write it. Name it. Watch how the fear shrinks the moment you acknowledge it. Remember, the world doesn't need another perfect version of you. It needs the real one.